When looking at the history of black horror, you would do a disservice to the entire genre if you didn't consider the blaxploitation films of the 70s. The 70s were a hallmark period for the inception of the idea of the genre of black horror, and in this video, we're going to take a look at what most would consider to be the beginning of the genre. But to look at the beginning of black horror, you have to look at the explosion of blaxploitation films in the 70s. So, what is blaxploitation? The blaxploitation film genre is a genre that was created in the 70s that heavily involved African American culture. It was one of the first genres to include predominantly black cast and issues, and provided the launch for several careers in black cinema. The term was coined by Julius Griffin, president of the Beverly Hills Hollywood NAACP. It comes from a supposed quote from Griffin in an article titled NAACP Takes Militant Stand on Black Exploitation Films, published on August 10, 1972. Unfortunately, I was unable to find the actual article, but several sources point to this specific article as the origin for the term after the release of Superfly. The genre of blaxploitation was polarizing, and there were differing viewpoints on the success of this genre. Many involved with the Black Power movement felt the genre could be used to illustrate socioeconomic struggles to bring African American culture to the world. Julius Griffin obviously felt that films represented black people in a bad light by portraying stereotypes. This was supported by the fact that Shaft, as well as several other blaxploitation films, were originally created by white men and were considered to be what white people thought was black culture. Griffin also argued that these films were not quality and were made only to make a quick buck for white studios and not black people. But where Griffin saw negatives, others saw positives. Many felt blaxploitation films were empowering. They gave black actors and actresses roles and allowed for more black leads. Now, at the same time as the blaxploitation genre boom, we started to see some of the first black horror movies begin to set the foundation for the genre. With the exception of Son of Ngagi in 1944, black horror movies were non-existent. We saw the first black horror movie character in Night of the Living Dead in 1968. However, it's debatable as to whether or not this could be considered a true black horror film. The 70s saw the release of some of the most iconic black horror movies, from Blacula to Sugar Hill, JD's Revenge, Abby, and so many more. These films had several black actors who'd later find success in more mainstream box office hits like Marlene Clark, Pam Grier, Glenn Turman, and William Marshall. These films portrayed black culture in the realm of horror films, and some even saw major success, with Blacula becoming one of the top grossing horror movies during its release year and winning the first ever Saturn Award. This era would later be followed by a virtual decline in black horror movies in the 80s and an eventual resurface in the 90s, but those are topics for another video. But for now, if you like this video, hit the like button and tell us, what is your favorite black horror movie of the 70s? Leave us a comment down below. If you want to continue diving into the world of black horror with us, hit the subscribe button and get notified whenever we post a video.